everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into it for the weekly reading for the sign of Capricorn. Alright, Capricorns, you're up next, and this is of course going to be for the week of November 10th, which is today, all the way to November 16th, next Saturday. Alright, so let's get right into your spread, Capricorn, and see what the romance angels have for you for this week. Trust, right? The situation is calling for you to have faith. Express your love. Time to go ahead and make that romantic gesture with someone. And we have unrequited love. Ooh. All right, so some different energies, right? I do pull 3 romance angel messages because not all of them are going to resonate with your situation, right? You may resonate with one energy and not another. This is a general reading. And it is meant to apply to different Capricorns, not just one Capricorn. Let's go ahead and get into your animal spirits. Now, same thing with these animal spirits. These animal spirits can indicate people that you may or may not be dealing with. They can indicate energies that may become available to you this week. And they can also talk about different stages and paths in your life that you're about to enter into. Again, you may resonate with one of them or none of them or all of them, okay? And so some of the Capricorns out there watching this video, you're going to get very different things out of this same reading that another Capricorn might, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and pull out the animal spirits that some of you may or may not be encountering. Straight out, we have bat. Ooh, letting go, the darkness before the light. Octopus, water energy. Bat, of course, is air energy. And we have earth energy of the mouse. Interesting. Now, the mouse has shown up before for your readings. So let's get right into it. The bat. The bat talks about letting go, right? The bat indicates a time in our lives when it's time to let go. It's time to let go. The bat waits for the sun to set and the moon to rise so that it can go out. It sees in the dark, right? It sees better in the dark, and it sees things in the dark that normally others, moving around, see things in the dark that normally others would not see by the daylight, right? And it's those things that the bat sees that lets it know it's time to let go, right? It's the last little bit. It's the last little sort of purging of a particular event or experience in your life. And if you want the sun, you know, a new day to dawn, it's time to let go, all right? It can be difficult, right? However, this is definitely what's being called for. Certainly we are on a path, and you know, for your forward progression, this is, for some of you, this is what's being called for. Octopus. Octopus energy, water energy. The octopus is really sort of a messy individual, right? The octopus gets into very messy relationships because octopus energy is not very respectful of boundaries. They don't understand boundaries. You can see the tentacles just work their way in and around and through and in areas that it just really shouldn't be. And in this way, the octopus really gets into a lot of messy, hurtful relationships. Oftentimes when you are ever speak to somebody and when the conversation is done and they've gone, you feel completely drained. This means that octopus energy is at play. Right, this type of energy, and people who resonate with this are often real energy suckers. They can be really sort of suffocating to be around, and certainly this is the great sort of. This is the king of way too much information. Not only do they overstep their bounds with you, but they also offer too much of themselves. They give too much information, and it's this kind of energy also that makes someone feel very drained. It's almost like you're assaulted with all of their problems and issues, and it's just like, you know, the way to deal with this is to really just push put a boundary up, put borders up, put boundaries up, enforce boundaries with people like who are resonating with this kind of energy. Now, mouse energy is earth energy, and the mouse is, the mouse can get really caught up, right? The mouse is kind of obsessively orientated to detail orientated, right? Obsessively, though. You know, the mouse goes around, every little thing can be very overwhelmed. Oftentimes, the mouse ends up running around chasing its own tail and not getting very much done because it gets so caught up in the nitpicky details of a scenario rather than getting the task done or getting the objective done, right? And so in this way, mouse energy can be really kind of wasteful, right? It can feel very frantic. You know, that's the word I would assume I would associate most with mouse energy, is a feeling of being frantic, you know, being under the gun to accomplish something, but being really overwhelmed with all of the details. You may be resonating with this, or you may be dealing with someone who's resonating with this. If you're feeling like this, if you're feeling sort of hampered, under the gun, you feel like you're really being overwhelmed, maybe you have a lot of work that's being put on you that is not really, you know, it's too much, right? It's becoming too complicated. Whatever the case may be, if you're beginning to feel this kind of energy, this sort of frenetic, frantic energy, it's time to pull away. Time to pull away and forget the details and pull away, still your mind, and begin to sort of meditate on the bigger picture so that you can get perspective. The mouse lacks a lot of perspective, and it's this lack of perspective that can really sort of impede its progress, right? And really just halt it in its steps, right? Just doesn't get anywhere. All right, guys, let's pull out your 3-card forecast. This is going to be anywhere from 4 to 8 3-card spreads. And again, these spreads are for different Capricorns. You may not resonate with every single spread. You may resonate with only one of them or none of them, and that's fine, okay? So, again, the readings can't be for all Capricorns, but they may indeed be for more than one Capricorn with a very different sort of life track right now. All right, let's pull out your first forecast for this November 10th to the 16th period for my lovely Capricorns. We'll see if the Empress shows up in this reading. She has shown up for every other reading, and I'm going to call it now at the beginning and see. Straight out the gate, we have the Fool, 3 of Wands, and we have the Lovers. So, Capricorn, some of you are coming in this week. Excuse me, you're starting this week off with a new path. I'm going to say it's a lover connection, and this new lover's connection that you have is making you feel very young and new and fresh. I'm going to say this is probably a case of I'm going to say for some of you, you may have just met someone. You may have just started a new life somewhere and come across someone. You're feeling, whatever the case may be, right now, Capricorn, a lot of you are feeling like you're in a very fresh new stage of your life. And part of this fresh new stage of your life that you're starting is a love connection that has come in. Right now, this love connection could have simply been a quick meeting, or just, you know, you caught somebody's eye, or somebody caught your eye, or whatever the case may be. But you're entering this week. I feel very much like you're entering this week with this kind of exhilarated sense that everything right now is fresh and new, and it's like the beginning of a journey. And even though you have maybe possibly met somebody recently, that is just a small thing, you know, lumped into all of the wonderful new things you're kind of doing right now. You know, I don't know if you know, I've had moments like that in my life where, you know, I've moved perhaps to another country. I was very young. I was starting to live a very sort of excited, artistic life. And it felt every day I woke up and felt very much like so many new wonderful things were happening, so many new wonderful experiences, that meeting someone who, you know, was really interesting, or meeting a new love connection was not so huge. It was just one of many huge things that were already happening. And so in this way, you enter this week, and I want to say this week you're kind of forced to pump the brakes on some of the things that you're doing in this new endeavor. And I want to say oftentimes Three of Wands comes in when we're forced to slow down and wait because something else needs time to develop. And this is why I'm saying this connection, or this love connection that you may have met most recently, may not have in amongst all of the other things that you're experiencing right now, may not have felt so significant. Right? That's the point I was trying to get across. May not have felt necessarily so significant, but you come into this week and life is kind of forcing you to put the brakes on for a second, because what ends up happening, this meeting or chance encounter that you notice, but you don't take a huge amount of notice, develops into a deep love connection, a soulmate connection. Okay? And I think that this comes very much out of the blue. It comes in because it's very much part of your destined fate, your destined path right now, because you're on this really great, some of you are on, well, like I say, this beginning of this new journey in your life that feels not only incredible and is full of all of these new kind of experiences that you're going through, but feels also very fated and destined, right? It feels like, okay, well, this was always meant to happen because all of this is so outrageous. And so what ends up happening is that this love connection that showed up very innocently in the beginning also turns out to be a very fated, destined, divine love connection that fits right in with the new path that you're about to start. I'm going to say that this particular reading feels very much, not only because it's the Fool, because the Fool can come in at any stage in our lives, whether we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s. We're always the Fool going up and down the tree of life, right? However, I want to say that this particular reading is about a young Capricorn who's just now beginning the adventure of their lifetime. Maybe in your 20s, 30s, I want to say 20s or 30s, possibly some of you. Six of Wands, Eight of Cups, and Queen of Cups. So some of you enter this week with a victory. Oftentimes, Six of Wands will show up with the Eight of Cups. It's quite interesting because what happens is with Six of Wands, some of you get a sense of victory. Your esteem increases, your self-esteem increases, your self-confidence increases on the heels of this victory. And oftentimes, that is exactly the boost that we need for us to make this Eight of Cups move. Eight of Cups is a very action-orientated move out of a toxic relationship or away from toxic people. This is when we decide to no longer pour energy into people. This is the kind of like, ah, shucks, you fucked up. This is it. This is the camel that broke the, this is the straw. This is the straw that broke the camel's back, right? Because Eight of Cups is so strong. 8 is the number for strength, remember. Major Arcana 8 is the Leo card, the strength card. And so with all the 8s, we always see a sense of strength coming in, right? Exercising strength. And with the Eight of Cups, you have made a very sincere and active decision to move away from people who overstep their bounds, who resonate with octopus energy. Because 8 is the number for boundaries, as well as strengths and weaknesses, setting boundaries, enforcing those boundaries. That's all about having a sense of strength as well and working to your strength, right? And so for some of you who have been dealing with an octopus individual, this victory that comes in this week in some area of your life that kind of boosts your confidence, this could be at work or this could be amongst your friends, some kind of issue where you're proven correct, right? Or you're proven to be the standout candidate, or you come out on top and it's very sort of public. You feel very good. It's a temporary victory, but the Six of Wands serves the purpose of really realigning our self-confidence and our self-esteem. This is the purpose of Six of Wands, and it oftentimes is a booster card for when we need to make decisions like the Eight of Cups. And so you make this decision and you move away, you put boundaries in place, and you make a very conscious decision that from now on you're going to deal with people who are right people for you, quality people as it were for you, people who at least live up to a certain standard for you, not just anybody, not just anyone who resonates with toxic energy. You decide that you no longer just let any old toxic asshole into your life. You no longer waste your time pouring your energy into these kind of, wishy-washy friendships with people who aren't really your friend, and in the end you're the one who's always drained helping them out. You're done with that. This is the choice of having higher sort of a higher level of interaction with people who are close to you, and not just letting anyone in, not just serving up your energy to any Tom, Dick, and Harry who comes in the door. And this is a very strong energy. It's a very positive energy of moving forward and it resonating higher. Certainly, it's a very, very strong energy for healing and for letting go as well. Letting go of things that no longer serve you. End the week out with a Queen of Cups, which means you end the week out having resonated higher, having gotten to know another part of yourself, having gotten even deeper and further in touch with your feelings, who you are, and what is important to you. The Queen of Cups is strong. She is the queen of her emotions, but she's the queen of her emotions because she's done a lot of very hard work to get to know who she is. She's gone through moments like Eight of Cups. She's gone through periods of moon energy, which were testing periods, right? The Queen of Cups has gone through all of the other cup stages to get to where she is, where she absolutely reflects her inner and deeper emotions on the outside. She's not afraid of showing her emotions. She's not afraid of her emotions. She wears her heart on her sleeve, and she's able in a very healthy and functional way to exchange her emotions with others. Her expressing herself and expressing how she feels is done in a very healthy way, in a very progressive and functional way, not in a dysfunctional way. And this has all come about because of all the hard work that she has put in. And so some of you Capricorns, being an earth sign, this week, you make a lot of big steps in your personal life, your personal interactions, and that side of you resonates just a little bit higher. There's the Empress. All right, did I call it? There's the Empress, and there you show up in your reading. Unbelievable. Seven of Cups. All right, now, I said the Empress would show up, and I was very confident in her showing up, and she's, of course, shown up in the same position that she has shown up in almost every other weekly reading for this week, in the power position, in the coming in energy position that you bring to the week. And again, I'm going to repeat myself. Just like with all the other signs, a lot of you Capricorns are coming into this week with a heightened sense of creativity, right? Heightened sense of self-confidence, heightened sense of creativity. You spend time nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself. You luxuriate. This week you may pamper yourself. You're feeling sexy, you're feeling sensual. All of this is associated with Venus energy, which is, of course, Taurian energy. And what do we have this week? We have a full moon in Taurus on November 12th. So it's no surprise that the Empress card continues to show up. This is a very feminine week that's happening, a very receptive and emotional week. Remember, females are strong as hell, right? And so don't take that as a weakness. This is a strong week. This is a strong week for manifesting all of the good work that you've done on the inside, on the outside. The Queen also luxuriates in the garden of who she is. This is the garden of who she is, right? The more different and varied and deeper and higher quality sort of level of skills and talent and treasures that she has within herself, right? These characteristics of who she is, the divine feminine, is expressed in her environment. So the more beautiful the garden that she luxuriates in, the more that only represents how beautiful she is on the inside. Okay, and so you come into this week very strong with this, very strong with feminine energy, receptive energy, taking care of yourself energy, and you're met with your own card. This is the devil, and the devil is the card for Capricorn. And let me be clear that the devil is not a card about evil. The devil is, in fact, one of the highest cards, and if not the highest card, for creative potential. It is through the second chakra, the Kundalini chakra, that resides in the pelvic bone, where we get our sense of sexuality, our sense of sensuality, and our passion. Right? That sexual passion that we have inside of us is connected with our identity of self, and it is a driving force that propels us into the world. It is also the driving force behind all great works of art. The greatest work of art is producing a baby, right? You can't have a baby without sex and desire. So it's this, devil energy is very, very much misunderstood. Now, when this driving force, this passionate force within us is connected to a higher source, connected to our spiritual center or our moral center, it's connected to wanting to express something higher than something physical, this is when we get great works of art. This is when we get symphonies and sculptures and inventions. This is when the beauty of being, a conscious human really comes out. However, when that outlet is not connected to a higher aesthetic or a higher desire or goal, and is simply sort of stifled, doesn't have an outlet at all, that sexual desire is when we become enslaved into our own sort of sense of self-gratification. We need to gratify that passion somehow. And if we can't do it in a healthy, creative way, we do it in an unhealthy, creative way. And this is when the energy of the devil turns and it's considered evil. But this is when we have addictions. This is when we have codependency. You can see that they are enslaved. They are, tied to the altar with a chain around their neck, right? Enslaved to their own addictive behaviors for self-gratification, instant gratification, right? Because this energy has to go out somewhere. Remember, the 15 is the second 5. The first 5 is the Hierophant. And in the Hierophant, the people aren't chained. They are humbly sort of submitting themselves to their spiritual center. And there is no power struggle, right? There's only commitment, but here there is power struggle. Here's the struggle between resonating higher and rising above, or languishing and being lazy and allowing ourselves to be enslaved by our own addictions. I take a moment with the devil card always because I feel like it's one of the most misunderstood cards. Now, you come in with a high sense of creativity. Very high sense of creativity. You're met with your own card. However, nevertheless, Capricorn, I'm going to say you end the week with a 7 of Cups, and 7 of Cups is indeed delusional thinking. And so in this way, I'm going to say for some of you, take care, because you entered this week with this strong Empress energy. But what you're met with in this devil card is that you're met with a little bit, you're met with a possibility. I'm going to say there's an energy or someone around you, right, is appealing to your baser senses this week. Someone around you is appealing perhaps to your ego, right? Or is appealing to what I would call that sort of lower side of the devil energy and that lower side of yourself, Capricorn. And you end the week with a 7 of Cups in the sense that you have a real kind of wishful way of thinking. I feel like somebody has sold you something that is unrealistic and that is that speaks to sort of the baser side of yourself. And so in this way, take good care that someone doesn't kind of sell you a pipe dream, take you down the wrong path. This could be octopus energy at play with somebody who's being very manipulative, right? Take good care, because if you find yourself at the end of week with this kind of pie in the sky, sort of suddenly, this fairy tale outlook on a particular scenario. This could be a relationship. This could be a partnership or a project that somebody's talking about. This could be even a money situation. This could be in any situation in your life, because the way you're seeing it's about the fact that what you're seeing is very fairy tale, is very sort of unrealistic, right? Then trust me, somebody has been using the negative side of this devil energy to kind of get you off track. All right, so take very good care. This is why I took a little time to explain that devil card, because I wanted you to understand why it is coming in a little bit negatively this week in connection with the Seven of Cups. In this way, it really has not much to do with the fact that it is associated with Capricorn, but only that whoever or whatever energy is coming into you, Capricorn, if you're resonating with this, they are speaking to your particular, right, individual sort of baser side. We all have baser sides. We all have a side to ourselves that can be manipulated, or that can be sort of like, you know, that someone can speak to. You know, we all have it. We all have something that we desire, or something that we could be, that we can become addicted to, right? That people can try to manipulate. It's whether or not we allow them to manipulate us in this way. All right, Capricorn? Justice. Four of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords. So some of you certainly come in this week. I want to say some of you are coming in this week, and it could very well be, Justice talks about balance coming in, but it's like you're wanting to redress a situation that has really been out of balance, Capricorn, right? You're wanting to see, you're seeking justice. You're literally seeking justice. You're seeking something to be rectified, something to be fixed. I think for some of you, if you've gone through something most recently that you found, you know, just offensive and unacceptable, and you're unwilling to let it go, right? And you're matched with a Four of Pentacles, which is interesting. You're matched with a sense of your financial stability possibly being threatened, right? I want to say that you've taken some action here where you've really championed a cause, or I think that you stuck your neck out. Okay, I think that in some way you stuck your neck out for someone or something. You may have even been resonating yourself with a little bit octopus energy, in the sense that you yourself have either allowed someone to overstep their bounds, or you've overstepped your own bounds with someone in the sense of how much energy you've put in. But you stuck your neck out, and you're met now with the fact that you yourself are going to be impacted in some way financially, and suddenly you end the week with a feeling of regret, I think you end the week with a feeling of, hang on a second, did somebody tell me, I feel like you're going to end the week feeling manipulated, because I don't think that you did this out of whatever action you took here with this Justice card. It was, you were meaning well. You wanted, you know what I mean? I think it was a moral sort of action that you took, but I think you end the week finding out that this, whoever got you down this track, because I don't think this came simply out of your own desire. I think whoever like sort of recruited you on this mission, or got you on this, on their page with this, I think you're going to end the week feeling manipulated and feeling a bit of regret, and almost like, oh my God, what have I done? And again, it's never too late. Right? It's never too late to fix it. But this will be, again, a case, I think, of octopus energy at play, and somebody having really, really tried to manipulate a situation. And you're going to really have to, you know, pull yourself together. Once you get to this thing, pull yourself together and get ready to meet this head on. All right? This could very well be just anxiety that you're getting because you're realizing the consequences of these actions. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be this way. It could simply just be that you're going through the anxiety of the fallout of taking a stance. And a lot of times we have that. I mean, if you're trying to take a humanitarian stance, or you're trying to take an idealistic stance in this world, you may, and possibly most likely will, have to pay for it in some way. Somebody's going to try to stop you or make it hard for you. It's difficult to be the good guy. And it could very well be that for some of you, that was just the case, that you've taken an action in some way, and now you're really having to deal with the fallout. And the case, and the point is that you can deal with it, you can ride it out, right? This was going to be par for the course when you took this action in any case, right? So it's a big learning curve. Stay strong, right? And just be very, very careful about who you deal with and how you move forward so that you can minimize the impact of something that you're doing here that to a certain degree is very, very important to you morally. All right, guys, I'm going to call it November 10th to the 16th. This ended up being being quite long. I do apologize, but for right now, I'm just going to say, if you resonated with this, please like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to leave a comment. Hit the bell for notifications so you know when I'm uploading. But for right now, have a wonderful week, Capricorn, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.